Clare, could you tell us how is life as a Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde baby?
So I am born with 5 retrogrades in the
Okay.
chart. So basically, for the people who do not understand astrology, retrograde is when a planet which is supposed to be going forward looks like it is going backwards. And all the expressions that are in the planet, for example, if it's a Mercury, and Mercury stands for communication, so people can be talking like really straightforward, and you can really tell that you can understand what they're trying to say, like straight to the point, and like they don't overthink about it, and it's like, okay, I understand you, you understand me. So as a Mercury retrograde natal, I cannot speak without like thinking, like overthinking about it. So I will cover all my bases. It's like, is it correct? Is it wrong? Is it like, do the person understand me? And especially like if I'm calling to like call centers and all that, I will actually have a script written down to make sure I want to say what I want to say, and it's been quite hard. Like, it's always been a challenge for me. Same as a Venus retrograde. So a Venus retrograde is a person who do not understand how to give love, and it's a bit, they would say it's a bit sad for a female, because then you do not understand how you are like as a female. So like, you can see like how my appearance look like a female. It's only because I understood the
you put out
formula
the
become,
of a female.
yeah. And it's like, okay, a female means must have long hair, so I grow out my hair, and a female means I must wear makeup, so I'm like, okay, no, I must wear makeup, but do I feel female inside? No, I don't. Like, I'm not the kind like of like female who is very shuni, who's like, oh, like must be gentle, must be I am not, like, because I don't feel that way. Unfortunately, it also happens in love. So when people can tell you that, oh, I like you, and then I will start to have like all this like thinking, like, is it true? Like, do you like me because like you think I look like a female? Or like you saying that you like me because it's like the formula is just a formulated spiel that you're trying to say to get me to go on a date with you, kind of thing, like, or like, I don't think you like me because you like my character. So then a lot of this, right, it becomes a denial to love.
Okay.
Because
So is it more like the self-worth is not there? That's why there's like a lot of fear about what your intentions are if you do come to me talking about like you like me. Is it because you don't like yourself enough? I'm just wondering, because if Saturn is involved, then basically that it's like I'm not enough, therefore whatever comes to you. But yeah, I'm not sure, but then just tossing it out there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Saturn is also involved in in the mix. But I think it's interesting to say, like, with Venus retrograde, it's with feelings, it's a denial to feelings. It's also a overthinking in like a lot of things. It's also not being able to move past your old relationships. So it's a lot harder to be able to accept the other person likes me for me, because I feel like, okay, I made a mistake in my past relationships. So then why would you like the flawed me because I'm not perfect?
Ooh, perfection. You're a Virgo coming out lah.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's also a Venus in Virgo thing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I can hear it.
So I just have all of this into the mix, right? What is really interesting is that with Venus retrograde, it's also the misunderstood misunderstood element of femininity. So when I was doing my research and I was looking at Hollywood celebrities, and I look at Courtney Love, I look at Mila Kunis and Charlize Theron, and these people are really hot, right? Like, they're like super like fat female, they're like really sexy. And when you go and look into their interviews, they say things like, I feel like I've been misunderstood as a female person, because like I don't want to look as like the person who is just like the sexy like figure and all that. So then they have been misunderstood as that archetype of like femininity. Like, they feel that they don't resonate with that, and working so hard trying to go against that grain, like where like I'm a female, it doesn't mean that I cannot be a director just because I'm a celebrity too, but I am a producer, I'm a director. I fight for humanity, I fight for like humanitarian causes. So they are just trying to go against that grain, and I think it happens to a lot of the retrograde qualities, not just in Venus but any other planets too.
Okay.
Like you work twice as hard to like prove that
True.
you are the way that you are not what other people see.
So personally for you, right, do you feel that during Mercury retrograde season is it like your time to shine, or how does it work? Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, there are definitely instances where I feel like, wow, I'm really quite smart during the retrograde season. But I mean, for like 3/4 of the year, I feel stupid. So like, just give me a break. Like give me the credit that I'm meant to shine at this time.
I want to pause a bit. So everyone, do you know Claire actually when she goes for astrology class, she's one of the top scorers. I know I've been practicing astrologer. I do not score very high. My score is shit but then because she puts in a lot of effort. I guess one thing is like we need to like really applaud like the effort you put in versus like someone who's like close their eyes and then they can do it. But for you, when you're doing your homework and stuff like that, it's like, do you pour in a lot of energy?
Honestly, it takes up a lot of effort to write. To write a report or to even write up blog posts onto my website. I would say that it takes up twice as long as how a person with a Mercury direct would do, or like a lot better especially if you have like a Mercury expecting to like your Jupiter. Then I feel like you just have a lot of things to write. It's a lot easier. I think it's a lot more fun for someone with that kind of aspect to write. I mean, that being said, it's also like relooking at the text over and over and over again to make sure that I have covered what I wanted to say. Because if I don't, then a lot of things usually just run off the point where and that's why I can get quite nervous with like meetings or like live chat with you.
You're
Because
doing very well. Yeah.
running off a point, suddenly we could be talking about spirituality, suddenly we could be talking about other things. They say that, for direct planets during a retrograde transit may be hard. And I would also say that it still applies to people with retrograde natal planets. Like,
Okay.
I would still get communication issues. Also, like, with printers and computers and such. But I think also the communication with my peers, because after all, if you're talking, it's also have to depend on whether the person understands you or not, right? And like they wouldn't really quite much understand you because they're experiencing their own retrograde transits too. So so it's slightly better, but I wouldn't say it's like all fine and dandy either. Same thing for like Venus retrograde, of course.
How has it been for you, the Venus retrograde, especially in Gemini? Yeah.
So with Venus retrograde in Gemini is actually in my 6th, 7th house, and it squares my Mars in the 9th house in Virgo. And I think it also there's an opposition forming in my moon in Sagittarius.
Wow.
Experience wise, I think there's no love. Yeah. It's been quite
I know that it's called circuit breaker.
a lot of it is about the self-worth. Also because I think I have my Saturn in the 2nd house, so it's a lot to do with the self-worth that I'm like looking at what is going on with my life. And unfortunately, a lot of people say don't compare your life to like other people. Sometimes you look at yourself and you're like, oh, but all my peers are like married and like they are having kids and they have like their own family, and like where do I stand now?